Let me ask you something real. When was the last time you actually saw yourself? Not the version of you that adjusted to keep her happy, not the man who dimmed his light to avoid conflict or disappointment. I'm talking about the real you, the one buried beneath the overthinking, the overgiving, the silent doubts about whether you were ever truly enough. The version of you that existed before you bent over backwards just to hold together something that was never being held from her. Sighed, see, we don't talk about this enough. How easy it is to lose yourself when you're always the one showing up, always the one giving more, always the one trying to keep the peace while your own spirit is quietly breaking. And here's the bitter truth, sometimes she never loved you. For you. She loved the access you gave her, the attention you poured into her, and the quiet power she held knowing you'd never walk away no matter how many times she disrespected you. That's what she got addicted to. The feeling of control. The certainty that you'd always be there, explaining yourself, defending your heart, trying to prove your love. But here's where everything changes when you finally wake up to your worth. When you stop seeing her as the prize and start seeing yourself, that's when her power fades. That's when the emotional game she was playing falls apart. Because the moment you stop chasing, stop explaining, stop bending to please her, it's no longer her game, it's yours. And that's when she feels the loss. That's when she realizes what she really had. And you, that's when you finally begin to win, not by proving anything to her, but by choosing you for the first time in a long time. She was never afraid to lose you until you stopped explaining. That's the part most men never realize until it's too late. You spent so long trying to make her understand your intentions, your love, your loyalty. You kept thinking, if I just explain it better, maybe she get it, maybe she see me. But she never really listened, because she didn't have to. As long as you kept talking, kept chasing, kept proving yourself, she knew she still had your heart in her hands. That's what gave her comfort, not your presence, but your effort. And effort became your prison, but then something changed. You got tired of justifying your love, tired of explaining your pain, tired of repeating yourself to someone who didn't actually care to understand. And that silence, it wasn't passive. It was powerful, because that's what shook her. Not your tears, not your arguments, your peace. When a man goes silent, not because he's weak, but because he's done, a woman feels it differently. She no longer hears the explanations. She hears absence. And that absence becomes her fear, because for the first time, she's not sure if she still matters. For the first time, your world no longer revolves around her emotions. That's when her stomach drops. That's when the games no longer work. You stop needing her validation. You stop trying to be understood. You chose yourself. And that decision, quiet, calm, unannounced, is louder than anything you ever said. It's what makes her realize she was playing with a man who was willing to give everything, until he realized he deserved more than breadcrumbs. And once a man learns that, he never looks back the same. She didn't expect to lose you, but she never expected you to outgrow her either. She took your kindness for weakness, but it was your greatest strength. You didn't love her the way most men do. You didn't chase her just for the physical. You weren't there just for the attention or the ego boost. You showed up with depth, with realness, with a level of emotional presence most women never experience. And she couldn't understand it, so she tested it. She thought your patience was passivity, your loyalty was desperation, your forgiveness was weakness. She mistook your grounded masculinity for softness. And because of that, she pushed boundaries, pulled away, played games. She wanted to see if you'd break. And for a while, maybe you did. Maybe you tried harder, maybe you chased. But eventually, you realized something. Your kindness had limits. Your loyalty had boundaries. You could give love, yes, but you wouldn't beg for it, because that love came from strength, not from a lack of options, not from emotional dependency. You stayed loyal because that's who you are, not because she earned it. And when she started treating that loyalty like it was disposable, you withdrew. Not out of spite, but out of self-respect. And that's the moment she started seeing clearly that you were never ordinary, that what you offered wasn't common. She thought you'd always be around, but you weren't planted there. You were choosing to stay. And once you stopped choosing her, the illusion broke. You weren't replaceable. You weren't weak. You were a rare kind of man-loving, patient, solid, and she handled you like you were average. That's her loss. Because when a man like you walks away, he doesn't return the same, if at all. And no new attention, no flings, no rebound can fill the space of something that was once real and now gone. She didn't really want love, she wanted control. And for a while, you gave her the illusion of both. You showed up with your heart in your hands, thinking love would be enough. You gave her consistency, attention, emotional presence. But she wasn't looking for connection. She was looking for control over it. Control over how much you cared. Control over how quickly you replied. Control over your emotions, your availability, your peace. And you, being the man you are, allowed it, hoping your patience would be seen, hoping your effort would be enough. You let things slide, you stayed when it hurt. You swallowed your pride to keep her close. But control disguised as love always reveals itself, because no matter how much you gave, it was never enough. Her love came with conditions, her affection with manipulation. She wanted the comfort of knowing she could lose you without ever actually facing the risk. But then you changed. You stopped explaining, you stopped waiting. You stopped showing up when she called only on her terms. And that's when the leash she thought she had around your spirit snapped. She thought you'd always chase. She thought the door would always be open. But when you chose peace over chaos, when you started feeding yourself instead of waiting for crumbs, she lost it. Not just the control, but the belief that she could always get you back. And that's the part that broke her. Not losing you. Losing the grip she once had on you. Because the most devastating punishment you ever gave her wasn't anger or bitterness or revenge, it was indifference. You stopped reacting, you stopped reaching, you didn't say a word, and that silence, that's when she knew she could never play the same game again. Because you outgrew the rules, you don't get her back by begging. You don't make her see your value by chasing, explaining, or hoping she finally gets it. That's not how this works. Regret isn't built from your words, it's built from your absence, from your evolution. From the undeniable proof that you didn't need her to become better. You just needed to let her go. While she's out there checking your stories, looking for signs you're still stuck, you're building, quietly, steadily, silently becoming the man you were always meant to be. No more emotional instability. No more giving your peace away just to be chosen. You stopped trying to get back into a space that was never built to hold you. And that's what stings her now. She watches from a distance as the man who once poured everything into her becomes a man she can no longer access. She thought she broke you, but all she did was reveal you. You stopped moving from pain and started moving from purpose. You didn't post to make her jealous. You didn't glow up for revenge. You evolved because it was time to. You finally understood that your value never depended on her recognition of it. And that realization? That's the lock she can't pick. That's the door she can't reopen. She had access to your heart, your time, your love, and she misused it. Now she wants it back not because she's changed, but because you have. And that's where the regret lives, in the silence. In the distance, in watching a man become better without her. So don't go back, not to prove a point, but because the version of you she knew doesn't exist anymore. And the man you've become, he only moves forward. He only gives access to those who earn it.